guys. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Second of our BritTrack reviews, the 60th anniversary Doctor Who specials. This time we're reviewing Wild Blue Yonder. Again, I'm here joined by Caro over here on my left. And underneath me, I have Andy. And then over here, caddy corner, I have Miss Angie.
Hi, everybody.
No, wrong way. That way.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure it out.
Hey, Carol.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the wrong
Doesn't date us at all.
That's right. All right, so
Marsha.
let's jump right into it. I think that after this episode, we all appreciate the mavity of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The who? Malady?
Mavity.
Mallory?
Mavity.
Mavity. Really? Didn't you watch the episode?
Mallory? What?
She was sitting right there while I watched it. I know she was here. Whether she was here or other.
I had a big glass
What?
of wine.
So that doesn't necessarily mean she was paying attention.
No. Yeah,
Right.
She did have a big glass of wine.
The BritTrack bunch. Sorry.
That's Caro.
Well, what are y'all's thoughts, guys?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was pretty good. I kind of was. I really liked it as like the second episode of a series. I don't know how I feel about it as this 60th anniversary special.
Yes.
No.
That's the same conversation that we had here was like I was saying earlier today, if you had told me that, apart from the physical aging of the cast, if you had told me this was a lost episode from their season, I would have believed you. Which is good in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's a perfect episode, but as a special, it's not special with that.
No.
Yeah, it's almost like the 60th anniversary. The problem is we have so many expectations, right? As Whovians, as people who watch the show and love the show and its longevity of the show. So having like the 50th anniversary special, the 40th, the 30th, the 20th, like having all of these,
It wasn't really a 40th.
Well, yeah, it's true. But, like having a 50th special specifically, but having things that occurred, around 40, 30 years ago that they weren't essentially special. They weren't called specials, but like things like multi-doctor, serials and episodes and a lot of focuses on celebrating the show in its entirety. And I think that you had nods to that in the first episode of our 60th series special. And there were a few things here and there in the second one, but it was very unique, right? It was very unique unto its own right. Right. I think instead of bringing the doctors together, it brought
several tropes
from the series. Yes, I agree with that. I think there was a lot of little nods here and there to things that some people may have missed because they haven't watched the classic series, or we forgot about because it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
So I just think that for me, I know that RTD has emphasized this is new. This is new. This is different. It is a reboot in its own right, but it's still carrying on a lot of things, right? Even stuff that was post his era are mentioned in this episode. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next one. I think he's not going to I hope that he's not going to throw out, bringing in former cast into the show. But I mean, who knows? Who knows where this is going to take us, right?
In one of the previews that we've had, we've already seen a returning cast member,
Mhm.
apart from Kate.
Mhm.
But we're not going to talk about that. But I think I'm agreeing with Kara. I think the next episode is going to be more of what we expect to be an anniversary attitude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But getting the Wild Blue Yonder unto itself, like as an episode, if we isolate it and we don't call it necessarily a special, what do you guys think about some of the stuff that's been going, that happened in the episode? What did we think about it? How did we feel about it?
What was that, Rob?
I said it was so good.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
Angie,
what do you think?
Spoilers. I mean, I thought it was a great episode. I mean, do we need to warn people?
Froze.
I've already posted that there will be spoilers in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's hard to discuss it without them.
Right.
But if you don't want spoilers, then go watch it and come back and watch it on VOD. It will be on YouTube as soon as we can put it up. And then next week we will be streaming it live on both Facebook and YouTube. I finally figured out the issue.
It was Rob all along.
Somebody said, I like how it carries over 13th plot line, but gives it the emotion that has long been due. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, I mean, like, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the episode. So, Wild Blue Yonder opens with, the TARDIS spinning out of control and landing on, Isaac Newton's tree. And there's this joke about the gravity and mavity. What's interesting,
isn't it?
Right? And he's like,
he was pointing the phrase. He misheard what the doctor and Donna had said and called it mavity, which is why the rest of the episode they said mavity.
Mavity.
You would think that with Sir Isaac Newton under the apple tree, it would have kept the doctor away, right? Because would it be a fixed point in time, right? Like,
I think it was more of an apple a day.
Apple a day keeps the doctor away. I get it. I'm dense. That's like going right over my head. But what's interesting is, if we go back to the Children in Need special, right, with Davros, and if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go watch it. I'm sure it's all over YouTube. And we see, a walking upright, Dalek Davros. And we see the other character there trying to coin what they would call and name the Dalek. And the doctor had influence on that, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of went into this moment with Isaac Newton that in the same kind of vein, which you wonder, is that something why did that happen? Like, is it tied together? Like, who knows? This behavior of going backwards in time and changing little subtle things, and how much of these subtle things are going to cause butterfly effects or not, right? Like,
well, yes. Is that just a little vignette on its own, or is it part of the overall plot of the 60th?
Yeah.
Is the Bad Wolf of this?
I'm hoping it's more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more. I think knowing him and Bad Wolf and the way that panned out, that I think that it's going to be more. I think that it's going to have something to do with it later. Like, he's going to have to go back and fix it. I would not be surprised if the historical episode of the new series isn't with Isaac Newton or not. Like, he doesn't show up again. I would be very shocked if they left him out and they didn't do a historical with him. I think it was a moment of levity ahead of a heavy episode, no pun intended. I mean, I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there that when I was watching this episode, I was like, they're going to kill off Donna. He's going to kill off Donna. Like, there's too much of this need to say goodbye that it is my like massive fear that that's what's going to happen in the third one.
But the show has been so hesitant in killing companions. I mean, Rose didn't die. She went to a universe and she came back. Martha's still alive. Donna had her memory erased. But even when she got her memory back, she didn't die. Amy technically died, but it actually went back in time and lived with Rory for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm.
Clara, don't even get me started on freaking Clara. She died, and yet she's still traveling. And then Bill.
Thank you. I mean,
yes. R.I.P. Adric. I agree. I hate the little bugger, but at least he died in the show.
Yeah.
He kind of comes back in Big Finish, but we're not even going to get started on that.
But I mean, if RTDs keep saying that it's that different, right? Then the chances of
that's a way to draw a line under it for sure.
Exactly. Like, here you go. Like,
I've been thinking all along, I could see, because there's going to be some reason for the Doctor to regenerate again so soon. And whatever does that could very well also take out Donna. I could also see about to kill Donna and the Doctor jumps in kind of thing. But there's
gives himself for her.
That's when we have a regeneration, knowing that there's a handful of episodes before the next regeneration.
Right.
No, will that be at the end of this next episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be at the end of the next episode. So,
Get back to Wild Blue Yonder. You can tell the Disney money was rampant on this episode.
Great set.
Oh my god!
When it first, when it first opened up, I thought it was, oh my goodness. So I can't remember the pilot from, like the actual pilot from, not the pilot episode, but as in a pilot, the job of being a pilot. The character that came back for Jodie's.
Oh, the dog creature?
Right. Him. So his first episode, right? His very, 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 very first episode. I can't remember what it was, but there was also another episode where I can't. There's so many episodes, y'all. Where
I know that's
the captain is on the ship. It's like all white, and she dies on the ship, like working with a doctor. I can't remember which episode that was. She was really, 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 really great. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. It's ringing of faint bells. I know what you're talking about.
But like the main room, right? The computer room, right? The pilot's room is like all white. It looked a lot like that. Like the set opening looked a lot like that. And I want to know what race it was that was floating around in space. Like I'm curious about.
Any comic book fans, it looked kind of like Beta Ray Bill from the Thor comics.
Okay.
I can see that.
It really should have been called Donna Searches for the Restaurant at the end of the years. I know the Marvin in the episode. That was like the first thing I said. I was like, oh my God, it's Marvin. He was great. The droid was really cool. And I loved the little go-kart, popping on the floor. That was fun. It reminded me of Gridlock, right?
Yeah.
It reminded me of Austin Powers.
Yeah. Austin Powers.
This is true. It had a very Austin Powers vibe for it.
What do you
I
say,
didn't get, and I may have missed it. I may have missed something, but it seems like they jumped to vampires really quickly.
Right?
Like, where the hell did that come from? I was like, what? No.
There's sort of a vague, very passing reference to. I mean, it was so quick. I'm not sure what they said, but I heard the word vampire. I think it was sort of like siphoning off emotional energy or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very, very quick. I mean, it kind of felt like something got lost in the cutting room floor there.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand the Wild Blue Yonder song reference at all. Like,
Well,
I
they're
don't.
on the edge. I thought about that a lot. And last night
edge
it
of the
came to me, it's
universe.
because they're on the edge of nothingness. They're on the edge of the wild blue yonder. Like, we don't know.
But it's almost like you wonder if, I mean, he said, I missed it, but at one point in the episode, they're talking about the song, right? In the context of the song. And, like, they mention he kind of implies that he is the Wild Blue Yonder. Like, the TARDIS is the Wild Blue Yonder. I don't know if I heard it, but it was a very fast conversation.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about because he refers to the blue and the blue, and I heard that. Yeah,
I don't know. It's almost like, to me, the Celestial Toymaker, or whatever they're calling Neil Patrick Harris's character, right? Puppet Master. Doogie. That there is, a implied that there's going to be a musical number, right, in that episode, because in some of the previous shots and different things that there was a dance sequence filmed. Whether or not that's going to be used or not, I don't know. Predator Zero has escaped. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the deal was with that, but I think that the episode was stylized unexpectedly. I was expecting more. I was expecting to see maybe another doctor pop up or another companion pop up, or I was totally not expecting them to land on a ship.
Yeah, just a little bottle episode. It was great, but yeah, it was not what I expected.
No,
just pretty much the two of them for the whole episode.
Yeah.
And
I mean, apart from the very end, it was the two of them.
Yeah.
And the whole doppelganger thing was crazy.
That was a lot of fun. That was well done.
I did not like Midnight. I'm probably the only person, only Whovian on the planet who did not like Midnight. But this episode, I thought, was one, scarier than Midnight, and two, made a lot more sense than Midnight.
I can see that. I think the issue with Midnight is that it was too Agatha Christie. It was too trying to be Agatha Christie. And I think that the doctor fearing the edge of the universe and not wanting to look into it and not wanting to see it. And the fact that we get the mention of Chibnall's, main arc points during his tenure of running the show, of the flux being mentioned, right? Of the timeless child being mentioned, right? Because the first thing when the doppelganger Donna said something about that, I'm like, she doesn't know that. That's not her.
Yeah.
But
I would just say it was Donna wasn't there.
Wow.
But yeah.
I think she does secretly. Just the way she behaved at the end when she said no, it was too much. I think she does know. And she was just trying to bring it out of the doctor.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a possibility for
all
sure.
the stuff she absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much timey-wiminess in there. And
there's a lot. Yeah.
There's so much going on. I mean, I only watched it about once and a half because I couldn't get the second watch through it before today. But I think that watching it again, I'm probably going to catch a little bit more, especially about this episode seemed a lot to talk more about regrets and possibilities and mistakes. And, I don't think that Tenet saying, oh, I do that now in the first episode, right? Of oh, that's something you do now. Okay. I guess apparently, or, when they're talking about, who was hot. They were like, so and so is hot, like attractive. I can't remember.
Oh, damn it! I know. Yeah.
Who did they say was
What
hot?
are they talking about?
I don't remember. It was so fast. It was really fast episode
We're really experts here, guys.
for an hour. No, I mean, like, it was such a fast episode overall.
It didn't feel like an hour. We
No.
were doing something, and it just went like that. And I was like, that was the whole episode. Yeah.
Oh, Isaac Newton, whoever that is.
Isaac Newton.
They said somebody in the comments, and yet did it in the context of moving the plot forward. I really missed that. Yeah, I agree with that. Sir Isaac Newton. Yeah, thank you to whoever.
It is nice. The writing is back to
Yes, Travis.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we have one person paying attention to us, and that's Travis Maurer.
Yay, we love Travis.
Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. I think a lot of people haven't watched it yet. I think that's why, like, this is, it did just air yesterday at 1:30, and a lot of people haven't had time to talk about it. And if we're able to get on again a little bit later, and like talk about this again after the moratorium, I think what we'll probably end up doing is we're going to review the next episode, after it airs. And then I think what we should do is a fourth review of the whole arc into itself ahead of the Christmas special, because that's coming out, and that's going to be really setting the bar for what we're going to see moving forward with the the next series coming out in 2024. So I do think that this episode was really good. I loved the humor in it. I did immediately start sobbing at the end of the episode and crying when I saw Wilf.
Andy pulled out his phone. He was like, when was this recorded?
Because he passed away 18 months ago.
I know.
Yeah.
It was delayed.
That's pretty much it for him.
Yeah, he's not going to be in
scenes of him in his wheelchair in the next episode, but that's it.
Yeah.
Because he did not, they had more originally in the script, but he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bernard.
It's just so sad. It's such a crying shame. Like, he's such a fantastic actor.
Uh-oh.
And he, like, just, I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like the scene when they talked about him passing and how he's still alive in the first episode. I feel like I want to say that was filmed after. It had to have been filmed after he passed.
Yeah.
Because that
they were playing with our expectations.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was sort of that's their nod to him because he can't be in the episode after all.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I also hated how the screen like shrinks down after the credits. And like we had to
does that.
We had to click. We actually clicked on like the next thing instead of like clicking over, and so we had to like go back an episode to watch it to see like the credits.
It's a real challenge to watch the credits anymore.
It is.
And particularly on Disney, which is funny for someone who uses stingers as heavily as that company does.
Right.
But that's a whole other conversation.
True. But I think that the episode was really fast. I thought that the set was incredible.
It was a great set.
I thought that the props, like seeing an actual prop and it not being all CGI with the arms.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I just
and a lovely sort of old school feel to it.
It really did. It was really refreshing. It was super cool to see.
And the fingers moved in those things too.
Yeah.
Right. And you know that there's going to be bloopers of that, and I cannot wait to see that.
Lord.
That's going to be absolutely brilliant and hilarious. So, I just think it's going to be pretty cool to see a lot of those different things, just moving forward. And seeing and hearing the dynamic between the two of them, and that just being the two of them by themselves, and getting a little bit more insight into how the doctor feels about everything that's happened so far, is very interesting. Like, because they're not going to really bring, to me, I don't know about, I always feel like whenever there's a regeneration, it's like, this is a new character and we're going to emphasize that this is a new version of the doctor, and we're not going to talk about a lot of the past, and bring up a lot of things from the past. But I think that is something that is not what RTD likes to do. And that's why, like, when we had this setup with River Song, and going into even getting into all of that, I think that, like, when he said this was going to be different, like, it is very different. I think that it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the next one. I think the number one complaint that I've seen online is that it doesn't really feel like a special. Like, it just feels like
it's an episode.
Yeah,
an
It's
episode.
a good
we were
episode.
talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
The
But
behind
That's the same thing. That's the only negative I've seen.
yeah,
Granted, again, it's been out like 30 hours, but
right, exactly.
Yeah, the behind the scenes video, as our comment is saying, was incredible, and it talks about how they have the virtual set. It's a green screen, but you can see the people and the projection in the background, so you can have an idea of what the green screen is going to look like in camera without having to wait months to get the made.
I suspect that's another of the Disney attributes, because that's how they shoot all of their, like, the Mandalorian and everything is done that way, so that the actors have something to actually react against as opposed to the green screen.
Right.
Well, they actually did film the Doctor Who on a green screen, not on the LED panels like they do the Mandalorian. But I wouldn't be surprised if that came next for Doctor Who. Not surprised at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard because, like, this episode I feel like didn't have a lot in it, but had a lot in it. Like, the first episode, I felt like there was so much going on. Like,
very dense.
It was very thick. I mean, like, from like the action, from the plot lines, from what's going to happen with all these different things, and then also just the messaging in general in the first episode. I think there was a lot of different, like, choices that were made, and clear commentary, social commentary in the first episode. And I think there's a little bit in this episode. Maybe I missed it because I didn't really it was very fast. So there's that messaging wasn't really there. At least for me, I didn't catch a lot of it. I feel like if I were to watch it fully and, like, slow down,
there's an awful lot of very fast dialogue.
Right, there's a lot of running and a lot of fast talking, and he even talks about how he's a fast talker at one point. But, like, I think that based on that, maybe if I go back and I rewatch it, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. I do love my favorite moment, and I want to know what everybody's favorite moment was of this episode. But my favorite moment of this episode was when the Doctor and Donna were switching out the cards out of the machine, and then she's like, "Is this dangerous? Do you think this is okay?"
Yeah.
And he licks it, and he, like, pretends to die.
Yes.
And she smacks him, and it's like, that is the dynamic that I have missed with the past, like, companion and Doctor pairings. I don't think we got that enough with Jodie, because I think because Jodie is a dramatic actress, that comedy element, like, was there, but I don't think it's very different when you have
comedians. Yes.
But I think, because I think Jodie's writers were too focused on getting a point across.
Right.
They didn't focus on that chemistry.
He's very earnest.
Yeah.
I think Jodie could have had it. I think she could have had it. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. And, I think that we got it here and there with Capaldi, like absolutely, especially like some of his more iconic moments. And I think we got it with Matt Smith to an extent, but it's not as much, I feel, as you got with Tenet. But I love that moment. It was so much fun. It was like, okay, I missed this.
Again, it was a very Tenet Tate moment.
Yes.
And none of the other pairings are going to be like that.
No.
So what did you guys think about him choosing the wrong Donna?
I thought that was going to be the setup for the next episode for a minute.
Same.
Me too.
I honestly,
this is how they're going to kill Donna, and then the next episode is dealing with this.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that was going to happen too. Like, I was like, the minute that she survived in the first episode, I was like, they're going to kill her off at some point. Like, I just felt like, one of the other complaints that I've heard is that the episode, like having her survive, cheapens the end of his like original 15 years ago, plot line. And that I mean, like, and I can see that point of view, and I can respect that point of view, absolutely. Which is why, like, I just have this gut feeling. I'm like, y'all, I want to be wrong, because again, I said it last time we were talking about this. Donna is my favorite companion of the new series. She hands down will always be my favorite. So, her going in any way, I mean, like, I'm just gonna be upset.
Yeah.
So what are y'all's like favorite like moments of this episode? That was my favorite moment. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. And I really enjoyed it.
Angie?
Sorry.
Hi.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was your favorite moment of this episode? The thing we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. It's okay. I know you're busy. I understand. You got things.
We're talking about Doctor Who.
And then your way here.
Donna counting the salt as a vampire was pretty freaking hilarious. It was funny that it was her that was counting the salt too.
I kept expecting the doctor to lean over and drop like 2 grains of salt, which is already counted. So she has to start over. So I thought there'd be a great comment like, Jeff.
Yeah. No, that was pretty great. What about you, Andy?
The one you already mentioned.
No, dang. Yeah, I know. It's really great.
Them every time they're trying to figure out, is this the real Doctor or Donna? When the 2 times they get separated and meet back up, and they're going through questioning, I enjoyed that a lot. That was
like trying to figure out like who's who. Yeah, that was really fun. I thought it was a good point you made. You can never really know someone completely. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'd
true.
say my favorite part was with the first time they're talking to the 2 doppelgangers.
Yeah, I didn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I was really confused by that. And then I was like, wait a second. And then someone else was over at my friend's house watching it. And he was like, that's a doppelganger. That's a double.
Yep.
I'm like, what? He left the room. And I'm like, oh my God, he did. And I don't know why it took me so long to register that.
It was just, it was suspicious because the way he came in so fast.
Yeah.
It was like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
But it was very well done with the temperature drop.
Yes.
That was a nice touch.
That was a nice touch. I like that.
Well, it's interesting because you had like fire and heat in the first episode. And in this episode, you had the cold deadness of space. So it's like, okay, that's
the fact that they were taking the energy, the heat from the room in order to create mass. In fact, that is an excellent point, Andy. I love how they rationalized that, made it make sense, even though you are trying to suspend your disbelief. Oh, they took thermal energy and created it into mass because matter and energy are the same. That is brilliant.
It was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were getting more science back in, I enjoyed the TARDIS ejection system at the end. I love that. It was hilarious. I do think that him picking the wrong Donna is setting us up for something. That's why I'm like, they're gonna kill her off. And I think that I also think that the emphasis that the doctor is flawed, and that the doctor does make bad decisions, and bad choices, and isn't always isn't always doing the best thing for the right people. That sometimes his decisions are emotionally motivated. Sometimes his decisions are motivated by the Shadow Proclamation. Like sometimes they're motivated by altruism or utilitarianism. Like
that was a big part of RTD's run. Is the doctor is mostly good and means well, but is still, pardon the term, human. He's still a fallible being, which makes it a lot more interesting than if you're perfect all the time.
And I think you really got to see that here. And RTD has this great ability of like pseudo retconning stuff in like one line, like in one conversation, and justifying, rationalizing things in like one little blip, right? We saw that in the first series, or the first episode with the fact that this violent energy that was going to murder Donna was just like released.
Oh, just let it go. It's just sing the song from Frozen and you're fine.
Right. And like, because like that was really weird to me. Like I'm not a fan of that decision. I loved the episode. I thought it was really, really fun and really, really great. But that kind of bothered me.
The point of that is that not all the energy was in her anymore. She shared it when she had a kid, so it wasn't enough to kill her.
Yes, but the solution was that
solution
it
was
be released when the whole emphasis was that it couldn't be, which is why it was locked away. Yeah. So I thought that was like they should have done something different with that. Like there should have been a further explanation, and we should have had more time with the Dr. Donna than what we got. But I don't think that this episode, she was not the Dr. Donna. Like it absolutely was gone. There was no residual. There was no nothing there. Like we were back.
Donna.
We were just regular back to good old ditzy Donna, pouring coffee on things. Like,
but I will say that's another of my favorite moments. Like, sort of going back to what we were saying,
right?
Is when they're trying to not think, and the doppelgangers are throwing out things, and he's trying so hard to keep his mind blank, and can't because that's the doctor.
That's who he is.
He has to solve the problems.
Absolutely. And he has to solve the problems, or he's already solved the problems, and he's always one step ahead of the enemy. Yeah. In this case, he couldn't necessarily be one step ahead of the enemy. He was like almost in tandem with the enemy at this point.
And you can't present him with a mystery that he won't solve or won't try to.
And like the only thing that kind of threw me off that I kind of understood but didn't, and this is like my one question I was going to ask because I didn't get it. It like again went right over my head. I don't understand why they were evil.
Like they made a quick reference. They've been picking up all the negative energy that organic beings put out. And they said something about like hate travels further than love, or faster than love, or something. I know it's pretty. The way you fight it is the next steps are going to a planet populated by about waist high, pastel colored ursine creatures with symbols on their chests, and they'll do the Care Bear stare, and that will solve it.
Why didn't we call the episode "All You Need Is Love" and play the Beatles song in the background?
Right.
But that was the explanation given as why they were evil. Was because they needed them to be evil to make it a scary episode. Because if they're good, it's like, oh, hey, now we have two doctors. Sweet.
I mean, they didn't need to make them evil outside of the fact that they were hungry. Like they could have just left it at that. You know what I mean? Like they
were malevolent. Like they wanted you to suffer.
Right? Like that. I mean, can be scary in its own right. But I'm sorry, but like things that look like you that can like change shape, and like all the things that they did. And the reason why they're chasing you is because they want to eat you, like, is to me perfectly terrifying. Perfect amount of fear. So, like, adding in that extra layer and then was really weird. I think it was a poor choice personally, but I mean, I get it. You know, again, messaging, but
So that whole scene reminded me, the scene where their arms were too long and then they were bending the arms and doing things. So we went and we watched Echo, the Cirque today.
Mhm.
And
Oh God, yes.
there's a guy there doing things with his body that shouldn't be allowed.
Just
Contortionist.
doing things at will and reload. Oh,
Yeah.
it was awful. Cool, but awful.
But that whole scene, it brought back this scene with
Mhm.
Yeah, sort of human spaghetti.
but I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
like they were crazy.
The body
Like,
horror from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's when they got big and they were just all smushed together.
that's funny.
I'll be the TARDIS hates coffee but loves tea. That's
Well, it is a British TV show, guys.
That was actually my
So-
thought when they said, "Oh, it has a coffee maker," and I'm like,
It was
Like,
great,
on a kettle?
Travis.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But I do like that we did get to see the sonic screwdriver doing something new again. You know, I don't think I've ever seen him. I can't recall. Rob, you might recall of him plugging in the
"Yeah,
sonic screwdriver into the door to reset it.
I like the fact that he didn't have the sonic screwdriver to fall back on.
The
In this
whole
episode.
episode. Yeah.
I think it was the whole reason they put that in.
that's why the episode was more than 10 minutes."
Right.
Yeah. Because if you had
The
had
special
Sonic-
anti-doppelgangers in it.
Yes. And no translator, no TARDIS and no translating. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I would love to see them not depend on the Sonic so much.
Yeah.
You
So I was gonna say go back to 3 and not have the TARDIS for a while.
This is true.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of like the first episode kind of almost felt like that, like getting at that a little bit, like working with Unit, trying to solve it, like getting the nods to Pertwee's era was pretty cool. But
This
this
is
one,
RTD's third Doctor.
yeah, and
Yeah.
this era, like this episode was so unique. It was just getting trapped inside of this, like, I don't know, Logan's Run-esque, like hallways and doors and having like a
Cube.
Marvin.
There's a movie called The Cube. It's a horror movie, but it's about
Yeah,
these
I've seen it.
people that are
Yes!
in this cube. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Doctor Who in the Cube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was pretty. It was as dark as it needed to be because it is Disney, but like, and it is Doctor Who.
And it is Doctor Who. It's a kids show.
It's still a kid's show at the end of the day, but I mean, it was, I think, as dark as it needed to be. But that, kudos to Catherine Tate. I mean, Catherine Tate is known as being a comedian, but like her ability to make me cry, like last episode and this one, I'm like, holy cow! Like, we all knew she had an incredible range, but now she's got 15 years of acting experience under her belt, and seeing her in this is just like, she's so good. Overall, like, I think that we're getting to see this great dynamic between the two of them. I see that you have a book behind you, Rob. Like, is there?
Well, this is I just got it. I haven't even had a chance to read it. It's Doctor Who Once Upon a Time Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's the phrase that was mentioned at the beginning of last week's episode. But it is the 10th Doctor, not the 14th. And it's the Doctor is kind of in a fictional universe. So, like I said, I haven't had a chance to read it. I've kind of glanced through it. But we see a lot of returning bad guys, both new and classic. We have the Sycorax. We have the werewolf from Tooth and Claw.
All right.
We have Yeti. We have mummies from Pyramids of Mars. We have Sutek from Pyramids of Mars. And it's just really, really cool. And it's part of a set because next week I'm getting Liberation of the Daleks, which is the 14th Doctor's official first story.
Okay.
It was serialized in the Doctor Who magazine, but this is a combined graphic novel version of it. So I should hopefully have it by next week. And it's supposed to take place just before or just after the regeneration from Power of the Doctor, and just before the Davros episode from Forbidden Knee.
Okay.
So yeah.
That'll be interesting because he does say in this episode that, you know, he's been traveling for a really long time since last time that he that he has, you know, I got sidetracked. Oh my god, with that jelly baby comment. The Tennant does say to Donna at one point that it's been a very long time, that it's been 15 years for her, but how long has it been for him, right?
Oh, it's been
years.
Because remember, like 11, like died of old age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a great many centuries. And then Capaldi went the long way around, beating his head through the diamond.
I mean, how old is he at this point? Like, is this the 14th? Like, how old is he at this point?
He's a couple of thousand years old.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of Matt Smith's run, he referenced himself being like 710. At the end, he was like 1100.
No, he was 912.
Yeah, that's what it was. 900.
that it?
In Day of the Moon, in The Impossible Astronaut, he said he was 912.
But no, he was beyond that, because he had a whole other companion after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, by the end of his reign, like you said, he died of old age. And then in Deep Breath, when he's reintroducing himself to Clara at the end, he says, "I'm the Doctor. I'm over 2,000 years old."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a long damn time since
before,
he ran around with Donna.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, that alone is it's very interesting, like, to see that and to see what's going on, because, like, we forget because, you know, we watch the episodes as if we are
we can rewatch the episodes.
Yeah, and like we are the companions that ride along, you know, with the show. And, you know, I felt like this episode was definitely one of those episodes where we're riding along with the Doctor, with Donna. We're getting lost, we're getting scared, we're getting confused. And I think that was really good. It was great writing. It was awesome cinematography.
It was a really good episode.
I did not expect. Awesome. I knew the robot had to have been good. Like, in my head, I'm like, it's got to be a good robot. And the whole, like, giant red button and pushing that trope was just great. I mean, it was really fun, and it really, like, but it also, like, I didn't realize the words were a countdown, and explaining that countdown, the way it was translated, and him figuring that out and unfolding that felt a lot like we haven't had a lot of that make sense in the past, like, in a while, you know, like, where the doctor comes back around and makes it make sense, right? And there's not as many questions, like, after the episode. I mean, there's questions about other things, but not questions about what happened.
Yeah, there's reasoning behind what's going on. It's not just random.
Yeah, and I don't think that we get, like, we didn't get that before. It's like, to use the Timeless Child for reference. I mean, like, it still doesn't make sense to me, like, it at all, you know. And I think that a lot of those pieces of what that was and how that's going to be treated, or I think that RTD is going to do something with that at some point, especially if he's bringing it up now. But it also makes me wonder if, you know, if the handling of the Doctor's story is that every time he regenerates, he's something new, right? and that him regenerating into the same face is now dealing with a lot of what has happened to him since, right? When we get the next regeneration, are we going to get back into that this is a new doctor? Like, this is a new doctor. He has, memories of being these other versions of himself, but he is new, right? So how is that going to be handled moving forward? Are they going to pick up with what they've done so far with Tennant, or are we going to see this, like, the reset that occurs, in between doctors? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that they can't but help do it at some point. I mean, if it's true that Shooty Gatwa has agreed to 3 years, and they're already filming his second series right now,
Right.
and because it's going to air in March of
right,
then at some point they're going to have to refer to something that's happened to him in his past. Plus, it's RTD.
yeah,
He loves making oblique references to what happened to the doctor in the past.
right,
And with some of the confirmed guest stars that we have coming up in the new season, I mean, there has to be some sort of commentary about what's going on with you.
right, exactly. No, I completely agree with that. I know there's a lot of feedback.
I'll mute myself.
Yes. It's like
You can hear nothing in the room.
Right. I don't know what's going on. It's very weird. So
It's Andy's laptop.
It's his laptop. We need to look at it.
His laptop's on.
So I mean, like, it's hard. This was a tough episode to talk about because it had a lot going on really fast. Yeah. It was part scary, part funny, part all the things a checklist above of a really great episode. I think that the biggest commentary and criticism so far for the 60th special is that it wasn't a traditional 60th special because, unfortunately, the 50th really set our palates as viewers of Doctor Who
spoiled
to what? Yeah, we got spoiled with that, and I think that having the expectation that it's going to be a multi-doctor, something, and that it's going to be we're going to have these other returns of things and special stuff is expected. But I think this is special in its own way because we're getting to see a different direction and a lot of things that we've never seen before, that has brought some really interesting takes on the way that we think of the Doctor, the way we think of the show unto itself as a vehicle, for conversation. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see where it goes moving forward. Because I agree with RTD. He said it was going to be very, very, very different. And it really is. And I kind of almost I'm kind of mad that I haven't gotten what I expected from the 50th, but I'm also kind of grateful at the same time because it's really good.
I think we'll get a lot with the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially considering some of the rumors that I've heard. And if you out there in Doctor Who land are interested, you can find them. But I recommend you don't go into it cold.
Right. And then the other thing is,
bad idea.
I thought Jinx Monsoon was going to be in this episode. I thought. I guess I was mistaken.
She's in the next series.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which airs next year.
Okay, well, I was mistaken. So I was looking out for her. She wasn't there. But I think that it's so hard to have a conversation about this episode again because a lot happened, but not a lot happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think you're right. It's a great comparison would be Midnight would be the easiest way to, compare apples to oranges, I guess, in this case. So I am looking forward to see what people add to the comments as this is up and running on our Facebook group as well as our YouTube channel moving forward. We always enjoy talking about Doctor Who. And of course, as we are, releasing this and airing this as the show is airing, we will be celebrating the 60th anniversary at the 2024 show. So we're really looking forward to that. We're planning on doing a lot of special things. As always, if you ever have any suggestions for programming or panels, we'll put out our panel suggestion form in January to get ideas for the up and coming 2024 show. And we cannot thank everybody, and thank you, Travis, for being here with us for Q&A, but also for those that are watching this after the airing, please add your comments to this video thread, as we would love to hear what your opinions and thoughts were regarding this wonderful return of Doctor Who and RTD.
And we want to do more. We want to do more virtual or live content like this. So if you have any requests of things we can do, any ideas for live streams that we can do like this, reviews, please let us know. We actually do have a couple of ideas for things that we have coming that we would like to film to show you, just to keep you satisfied throughout the year. But if you have any other comments or suggestions, please let us know.
Absolutely. So you can contact the BritTrack at britishmedia@dragoncon.org, or you feel free to leave a comment here on this message, or again, email us or message us through any of our services. We're happy to chat and just get excited about what we do for DragonCon. So we can't thank everybody enough. Thank you to Rob. Thank you to Angie. Thank you to Andy for always being here to support us. I'm Caro, the BritTrack director, and as some of you may or may not know, and then Rob is our lovely assistant director, and then we have our amazing admin crew, Angie, that are just, we could not do this without them, and have been doing this for a while now. So we are looking forward to celebrating 60th. Rob, when are we going to record for next Saturday?
That's a very good question, Caro.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet.
We talk about it after the stream, so we're not boring everyone else.
Okay.
We'll have something hashed out in the next week. We'll let you know, okay?
Okay, so we'll let you guys know.
Next week.
So
sometime after the episode. We try doing it before, it doesn't work.
So absolutely. So we're going to let you guys know when we're going to release our next episode after the next one airs. As always, we put a 1-week moratorium on posting anything or sharing anything about this current episode, unless it's official, obviously, in this vein, through this thread.
Unless we're talking about it.
Because we're talking about it, but we're trying to do no spoilers. So, if you are interested in listening to us, we will, do another one on the third episode coming up. And then we'll have a fourth one discussing the special as a whole. So thank you again. Thank you for everybody for their time. And we will see you next time, DragonCon. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.